And we're live. Well, for those who are watching, welcome back. It's been a while. Um, my name is Joshua Sohn. I am a composer for film, games, and today I have been really excited to show you this track that Lazy Pixel and I have been collaborating on. This is something I started last month in February. There is a live stream on the track that I started, and so the idea was for me to write something, pass it on to Lazy Pixel, and have him finish it. During that process, we went back and forth as well. There are some things that I heard from him that I thought was really cool, so I kind of took some of his ideas, put it in mine, and then vice versa. There are some things on my end, like the woodwinds and other ideas like piano that help integrate and uniform this entire piece together. So, without further ado, what I want to do is play you the track, the finished track, and then we'll talk about it. I'll also have a brief interview with Lazy Pixel about this track. So, here we go. Let's go ahead and get this started. This is, and just so you know, there are two versions of the mix. One is the one that I mixed, and then Lazy Pixel's mix. I'm gonna play you my mix, and then eventually, I think what I'll do is I'll put a link down on his video where you can hear the entire track. So here is my version. Here we go. Let me just double check my routing. And let's turn this off so it'll save on CPU. Okay. And let's see what doesn't want to play. Oh, there we go. All right, there you have it. So it's a 3 minute and a half track or so. So if you guys remember, or if you watched from last time, around here, let's see where that piano. Okay, yeah. Oh, actually, everything kind of drops at this point here. So right at that moment when that cello comes in and everything just drops, that's where I handed it off to Lazy Pixel, and he did a fantastic job just trying to continue where I left off. It wasn't easy to just leave that unresolved chord and then kind of have him figure out the rest, but I think he really pulled off something that I never would imagine. And he actually changed the key as well. So in the original key, it's in the G, and then he transposes to C, and then A minor. So yeah, a lot of really fun things to talk about. So I wanted to make this video relatively brief, so I'll go over just some background stuff here, and then Lazy Pixel wasn't able to join us for the interview, or a live interview at least. So what I'll do is I actually recorded us talking yesterday, so you'll get to see his insights, see his face. Lazy Pixel, his real name is Sebastien Brunner. He's from France, and I had so much fun working with him. So, okay, let's talk about what I did first. In the beginning, everything is pretty much the same. However, I did add some, more pads, more filler kind of stuff. So here's what I added in the synths. Now let's add maybe drums to that as well. So here's some percussion. All right, and put that together. Let that tail out for a sec. Okay, here we go. So that's really fun, doing that kind of effect where there's a riser, pads just filling in the background for this relatively thin, empty part where it's just piano and high strings. After that point, I did add horn as well, so I'll just play a little bit again. Okay, and then probably the biggest thing that changed was adding percussion to this part, and just a little bit more movement in the spiccatos. I think here, before I just I actually did these eighth note style, and then I decided to do double bowings on these instead. So let's hear that in context with what I'll do is I'll just play the shakers with the strings, and let's add woodwinds as well. Cello, bass, the piano now. So that's basically extra things I've added over that course of time. The Bartok pit stuff happening here is actually layering with my bass stuff down here. So that's doubling, but as you can see here, as you zoom in, measure 33. That actually is not physically possible in the orchestral realm, right, in the classical or concert realm, but I thought it'd be nice to keep going and add that energy towards the end, and then as it goes to this next part, let's talk about Lazy Pixels part real quick. I really enjoyed what he did here. So, because I don't have some of his sample libraries, there's a little bit of a challenge there. So we just ended up sharing session files, wave session files, that is, and I'll go ahead and zoom in on those. So what happened was he thought it'd be nice to give it a break. So after this part, he adds some percussion that swells up, and then a Tina Guo cello. If you guys are familiar with that, and cinesamples, along with some strings. And I'm just soloing his part. I also have piano that I added in. That's a Tina Grove right there. English horn along with that. Cool. Now, also he did write the entire piece, but we did share Jaeger strings, Jaeger brass. So actually, I put that up into my session. As you can see, it's kind of a Frankenstein of tracks. Some audio, some MIDI stuff that he wrote that I put back into mine. Anyways, let's put that in context now with everything else. Very uplifting, right? Something you would see in one of those 90s movies. I don't know, like Remember the Titans, or maybe that's 2000, but Mighty Ducks, something like that. Yeah, so I thought he did an awesome job, and it was fun to hear that kind of think, okay, what can we do to tie everything together? There were no piano parts, so all the piano stuff here was fun to add. How about I'll solo that for you guys so you can just see a visual of this as well. Pretty simple, just kind of outlining chords, let the brass really sing through. So, yeah, that was I think that is a secret puzzle, or a secret part of the piece that brings the piece together, is the piano. I think is what we agreed on. Anyways, that was quite the project. So that took us over probably a month, just a little bit over a month to finish, and I hope you guys like that track. I will also post this on a separate video, just the music track itself, in the near future. You can also find his mix version in the link below, description below. I will add that in if it's not there yet. Without further ado, I thought it'd be fun now to talk about his insights, and with a little interview. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll play that right now. I wanted to introduce Sebastien Brunner from Lazy Pixel, and just wanted to talk about this process that we did for this track, New Dawn. Great job, by the way, on the track.
Same for you.
I didn't know what was gonna happen, as far as my half, and then like, here you go. So could you explain, like, from the time I made the track and then sent it off to you, like what were some of the things that was on your mind, like your process or approach on finishing that half?
Well, I don't really know. It's kind of every time it's very different. So you had this very classical sounding piece of music and was flowing very nicely. And well, where you stopped, I thought, let's do a change of mood or something. Let's try to introduce a big shift. So yeah, I just transpose it, and that was pretty much it. Then I just go with the flow. It just comes out like put a few chords together, and there it is.
When you listen to my track and did you already have like some ideas running in your head already, or did it just kind of come about as you were writing?
No, it really comes, as I go. I start with the first chord, and then I build from there. I'm usually trying to begin with a mood,
Gotcha.
and yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to go all the way epic stuff, but so yeah, yours is sweet and I don't know, nice and gentle. I thought let's bump it up a little bit, with something a little bit stronger, maybe.
Yeah.
To contrast those parts, and yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
I tried a few ideas at first. I tried to go on a darker mood, but wasn't going very well.
If it went like too gothic sounding or too
it
dark,
was just, well, yuppie and uplifting, and having something very sad after was just like, nah, it's not working. So I went for this one instead. And I think it works.
I really like the choice you made with the cello, like that little break where you solo the English horn with it. I think
I
that's
put
nice.
that in everything.
Oh yeah.
I really like the sound of this cello, and the English horn too.
Cello,
So
that cello was from Tina Guo, was that right?
yeah, indeed, that's it.
Yeah, and speaking of sample libraries and collaboration, one thing I realized that's kind of a hurdle is if you don't have the same sample libraries, that can be a big problem because then you can't really cross between each other and it doesn't sound as consistent throughout.
Well,
we were lucky.
Well, for the way we were doing it was quite okay, even if we didn't have the same ones, because it's kind of two separate parts. It's kind of okay. But if it's I don't know, if it's like a track you compose and I add some things on it, some libraries just don't blend together. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
So,
and it was nice to
tricky.
have it like two separate chunks, like you said.
Yeah, and then we did all this crossing the sounds, taking some parts I did, and into putting this in the first part, and some of your sounds from the first part, put them in the second. So that makes a nice blend, and it's quite okay like that. It sounds just great.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Just some samplers library it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
we were lucky on that.
We were lucky in a lot of ways, yeah. Because I mean, one thing that we shared was Jaeger, right? So we used strings from Jaeger and the brass from Jaeger. But
that helps.
Everything else, like even percussion, was different. And then, but yeah, like you said, we did share. So like I used some of my Hollywood woodwinds from Cine samples into your half, and then like you put your spiccato stuff.
But it gives a nice unity to the whole piece, so that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, you don't know until you try. So that's
indeed.
Thanks for
trial and error.
Yeah, thanks for taking this journey with me on that, because I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen.
Well, that's why when we started, I said let's start with a library we share because it makes everything easier.
Yeah. So I guess that's also one that leads to my next question, which is like, what were some of the challenges you faced? So like I guess some of the technical stuff, like the sharing session files. But like when you heard my track and then you had to go right into the next, what was like the biggest challenge you faced?
The first chord. That really was, because well, as I told you, you didn't resolve your part, so it was kind of hanging there, and so What
Yeah.
now? So yeah, I tried each and every one of them until I found something, and I started with that.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, that
awesome.
was pretty much the biggest challenge. It's how to start. Once it's what's in, on the way, it's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of my bad for leaving it so
Well, no, it's
open-ended.
fine. Well, it was challenging, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's and it sounds nice because well, the fact that you don't resolve it makes it like you're waiting for something, and
Yep.
well, something else happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite surprising. That was interesting.
One
Yeah.
last thing I want to ask you before, and this more for the audience, if anyone's listening out and wants to collaborate with you or just, collaborate in general, what are some tips that you would give to someone that wants to start that?
You have to find some people that you quite enjoy what they're doing, so
Hmm.
that it's going to be a nice exchange, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So well, yeah, you just ask basically.
Yeah.
You
I think
ask, and well, yeah,
that's kind of the hardest thing. So I think a lot of
yeah.
people might be like, oh, like I'm kind of nervous to ask, or
Well, yeah. Well, I'm too, but sometimes, well, what's the worst that can happen? The other
exactly.
guy says, "Yeah, I don't have time," or "No, I'm not interested." Well, yeah, move on.
Yeah.
Ask someone else. It's nothing. I get asked to. Some people just send me an email. Oh, what do you think?
Uh-huh.
We should try. Okay, let's try.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it actually never happened that yeah, that a track didn't finalize in the end. It always went to a finished track. So it's always interesting. Yeah, I met a lot of people like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, first thing is to ask.
Yeah, first thing is to ask. Just be brave enough to, you know,
Yeah,
to do that, and the rest is history. I think that's
yeah.
great. Well,
Well, and it's
yeah,
nice also when you ask. Don't be afraid to ask someone who you feel has a better you know musical level, or whatever. Depends on how you rate yourself, because you're going to learn even more. You know, I'm not even sure I could do the first part of this track. I'm not as classically minded as you are. You have a completely different approach. You start on a piano, which I can't even play. So it's very interesting. So that's why also, when I got your MIDI, I went through it and looked at it and tried to learn how you do your stuff. And that's very interesting too,
oh yeah, for
because
sure.
I can see how you orchestrate things and say, oh, okay, I didn't think about that. And okay, that's why it sounds classical, and that's why, and
Yes,
that's really great.
I can say the same for your side too, because as we like shared the sessions, I remember I was like, oh, I like what you're doing with the low strings with the spiccato rhythms,
Oh, yeah.
and they were like, let's put that into mine too. Yeah, yeah. So I agree, and I think more than just the product itself, like the actual track that we made, I feel like I learned a lot, as far as your techniques and your style of writing, as well as the mixing. I mean, we did actually our own mixes, right? We have two versions of
Yeah.
this, and it was really cool to just see your approach versus mine, and then adopting some of that. Like I really like the sound of your drums on your mix, and I was like, I'm gonna like kind of replicate that and see if I can do that on mine. So
And it's funny
yeah,
because it's actually your drums. You wrote
yeah,
the whole
yeah.
drums.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, you made my drums sound good. I'm gonna. What did he do? So those are the things that I encourage a lot of people. Just like who are starting out or whatever. You learn so much just with working with someone else, because it's almost like they're kind of giving you a check and balance on your blind spots as a like a composer, as a mixer. There's just so many things that you don't even realize until you hear it a different way.
Yeah,
And
and on this track, like in my part at the end, I added like this counter melody in the high strings, and you added it on, you doubled it on the trumpet. It didn't even occur to me
oh
to do
yeah,
that. So it's kind of, oh yeah, okay, I didn't think about that, and it sounds way better actually. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's kind of bringing a lot of ideas, and that's great because, well, now I remember trumpets.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that, well, if I had done this track on my own, well, it would be different again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had your input, or I wouldn't have had the piano.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's all good. It's really it's a good thing to do those kind of things with collaboration. So yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
people, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're going to get a full mailbox of people wanting to collaborate now.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see what happens from here. And hey, and if people want to reach out to you, or I mean not just reach out, like to listen to your music, and if they are wanting to collaborate, where can they reach you at?
I think the email is on the YouTube page in the About section. I have my
Okay.
email there, so just send an email.
All right. So you can
Or
find
on
Lazy
Facebook, but I'm
Pixel
slow.
on okay, on Facebook too. You can find
Yeah.
Lazy Pixel on just on YouTube. Type in Lazy Pixel, and there's a lot of music that he has up on there. So for anyone that's interested, check out his music. He's very versatile. From what I've heard, a lot of great fun collaborations with everyone from like electronic style to epic styles, and even like emotional piano music. It's great, and so I'm just really happy that we're able to do this, Sebastian. So thanks a lot.
Well, thank you too for inviting me to do that. It was great fun. And well, soon the next track.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and that's all I have for today. If you guys really found something useful, please do like this video, as that'll help reach some visibility, help support my channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and press the subscribe button. All right. Well, with that being said, thanks for watching, stopping by, and I'll see you next time.